We are going to be streaming this live on YouTube as well.
Is it very light? Can you?
Yeah, it's very light. You might have to make it darker. We are going to be streaming this live on YouTube as well.
Why is it very dark? I mean, very light reflection.
Is it very light? Yeah, it's
Yes.
turning out to be very light, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's in
Let's see.
black only. I don't know why.
Um, I'll do one thing. I
Yeah.
will go back to the speaker side by side gallery, side by standard. Okay.
Don't you have varying thickness of that line?
Yeah, that also we tried. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm doing it in the
Thickest
thickest
one.
one, I guess.
Try a different color. That's also not rotation writing.
Ayo, it's very like thin.
Highlighter, eraser, smart drawing. Okay, hold on. Can you remove the whiteboard now for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to go into the normal gallery view. Okay, now try it again. Can the co-hosts please admit everybody? There are some people waiting in the room. Okay, now try.
Yeah, I'll admit.
Yeah, now it's fine, no?
Ah, yeah, now it's fine.
So we'll have to kind of stick to this, I guess. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll stick to this view itself. Let's go back to that other view once more and you just try. Okay. Um, okay, let's try that other view, immersive view. Um, okay, now try.
Perfect.
It's fine now.
Yes.
Good. Okay, can you remove this view?
Yeah, I'm taking it off.
I request everyone to turn on their videos. I request others to not turn on their whiteboards now. I request everybody to turn on their videos, please. Please have it turned on at least for the first 10 minutes. I think Chitravina Ravikiran sir just joined. Sir, are you there? Ravikiran sir, are you there? Oh,
Can you hear me, all of you?
yes, sir. We can hear you. Welcome, sir. Namaste. Greetings to everybody. I am Soumya Acharya, and on behalf of acharyanet.com, I have a great privilege of welcoming all of you to this wonderful session on the art of notation writing, which will be conducted by Sangeet Samrat Chitravina Ravikiran sir. I want to really thank him for taking the time to educate us on this very important subject. It has been a topic that many students have a lot of difficulties with, and we constantly get requests, please send us the notation, we want to learn the song. So I think sir will be talking in depth about the various important facets of notation writing, and this is all gurus will agree that it is an essential skill that needs to be developed from day one itself. And Ravikiran sir will throw more light on that. Ravikiran sir needs absolutely no introduction to any of us here. He is a brilliant musician who has been contributing for over 5 decades. He's a child prodigy. He's a prolific composer with over 1,000 compositions. He's the inventor of Mel harmony. He's a very passionate educator, social reformer, and so on and so forth. Please visit ravikiranmusic.com to know more about him. And he's also the dean of the Acharyanet Academy. And you will find many lessons from basics to advanced, and the perfecting Carnatic music curriculums, which are followed by students all over the world, as well as many modules covering masterpieces of various composers, including Uthakadu Venkatakavi, and a lot of modules on Manodharma. And please explore Acharya Net if you haven't done so, if it's the first time you're joining us. There are more than 800 lessons covered not only by Ravikiran sir, but many amazing musicians, legendary gurus on a wide variety of topics, which will really help you to go to the next level in your learning. This session is being also streamed live on YouTube, so you will be able to get this You can also go through it later on the Acharya Net YouTube channel. And with that, I wish you all the best and request Ravikiran sir to take over.
Thank you very much, Soumya. Namaskarams to everyone. Greetings, good mornings, good evenings, good days, depending on whichever time zones you're all in. So, this is a very, very important topic, which is expressing music visually. And I'm just going to be covering various basic aspects of this. But at any stage, if you have any questions, you can either, whenever I give the break for questions, you can ask questions, or you can, since there are a lot of participants, I may not be able to see everybody in the screen. So you'll need to unmute and then state your name and then ask your question. And those who are following on YouTube, you can text your questions there, and somebody will be monitoring and throw it open to me, and I'll try and answer some of this. So now our first and foremost thing is the basics of notation and the advantages of notation. Why do we need notation? Music is actually called Shruti. Basically, it comes from Vedas, which itself is called Shruti. That means it was from the ears. In fact, English translators call this oral tradition, but I would prefer to call it as oral tradition, more the listening kind of tradition. You actually heard. Your ears were the main part of learning, not your mouth. So it's really not oral tradition in a strict sense of the term. So the ears are the gateway to music. They are the gateway to memory. And they are the gateway to cognition where music is concerned, especially. So the eyes are only a supplement. Reading notation, writing notation is an essential supplement. Let's put it this way. And when we learn music, even now, notation skills are important for you to get a precision of the phrasings, not just sing them intuitively based on your ears alone. So the more you are able to transcribe what your gurus are teaching you, what you are listening accurately, if you are able to do this, then your understanding of music is exponentially enhanced. And now, if there is a phrase like this, if you know how to transcribe it, you will see how exactly sophisticated that particular phrase configuration is. In other words, you need to notate to understand the configuration. In that, the dapa will be double speed. Ga will have an extra space. One, two, three. That is 2 for the ga. So you will know which is the fast part of it. If you are doing this, that magari is actually faster than the gamma, which itself has 1 space in the slow speed itself. So these kind of details, if you understand and then reproduce, whether it is compositions or alapanas, all this will actually make your singing far more accurate, your playing far more accurate. Those who don't do this and simply learn the song roughly with a tune will also be able to sing it or play it only roughly, because their cognition of the internal details will be lesser. But once we start notating, once we get into the habit of transcribing music a little bit for this, primarily for our own use, and publications are all next part of it. It's really for our own edification and our own evolution. So once we are doing this, even in a rough way, if we are able to do it in the manner that our handwriting is at least decipherable to ourselves, then we can actually start improving musically in a very, very quick manner and a thorough manner. Now, what are the other advantages? My father used to tell me, in fact, I was taught the notation system when I was about 3 or 4 years old. And simple things. I could both read and write notation in several languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, English, and subsequently Hindi, Sanskrit too. But most notations are not written in those languages for Carnatic songs. But these languages, we sort of organically learned. It was very easy to pick up languages when you are a child. So, it was much easier. And music itself being a language, that was also easy to pick up relatively. And so what happened is, once the logical approach to notation writing came in, then your notation reading from the books also is exponentially faster. Because once you write a few things also, then you can read notation also much faster. If you don't write notation, then your reading will also be very slow. But when you actually start writing notation, what other things really happen is, I mentioned about your perception of music, your visualization of music. Otherwise, you only simply sing in a very approximate manner. But if you visualize accurately, then you start singing more accurately. Then the details are far better in our expression. Then we start bringing it in our voices or our instruments. So then the other most important thing is, apart from cognitive abilities, our memory is enhanced. Whatever we write is equal to singing it about 10 times. This is something that we were taught. If you write the notation once, it's equal to at least singing 4 or 5 times is what they would say. But I would say it's equal to singing 10 times. Because when you're writing, you're putting that effort on transcribing the details of the music. Today, we have the advantage of audios and videos and YouTubes and so many other things. So you can actually sit, play back and keep doing this. In those days, predominantly, you had to transcribe it as fast as your guru sang it, literally speaking. But in my case, my gurus always insisted that I actually learn it from the ears only. So even though my father would write fantastic notations, he would rarely allow me to actually learn from the notation, because our alertness can also go down. But the skill was there, which later on enabled me to start learning from notation, because until then you have to still learn from the guru in a correct manner. But after a stage, I could start looking at a book also. I would be able to interpret the Gamakas correctly there and then learn it much faster. So that stage is the next stage of learning. But in today's context, because the students and the teachers barely have 45 minutes or 30 minutes per class and all this kind of limitations time-wise, logistics-wise, it's better to also write down whatever you are recording and then learn from that. That is the stage. But initially, gurus would only sing it again and again and again until the students were able to get it in their heads, get all the details in their heads. That's how the traditional learning was. But there have been some fantastic musicians, legendary artists who could write notations very well. People would have seen notations written by Lal Vijayaraman sir, for example. Fantastic. Shamam Vishinivasa, very beautifully read. He would write. T.M. Tyagarajan sir, his disciple. Again, excellent notation system. T. Vishwanathan sir, who actually comes from the Veena Dhanamal family, which is antithesis of notation writing. But T. Vishwa sir would write extremely detailed notations with all the symbols that would even make non-Indians learn complex Dikshita compositions or padams and all that very easily. So these were the kind of artists who could write very well. My guru, one of my gurus, Shri A. Narayana Iyer, used to write excellent notations. He would just make any complicated song, even a Giripe Nelokona, he'll actually make it look very friendly with the way he notated the song. And he would just take barely 10 minutes to write a masterpiece like Giripai. I've seen all this firsthand, the way he would write. And similarly, of course, my father and Guruji. Today, Kalyana Raman sir was known to be very precise in his notation writing too. So there have been excellent artists who have done all this. And some of them have published books. Nedanuri sir, all these people are excellent in writing notations. They have published several compositions of various composers, which you'll be able to see. the precise way in which they understood music and they transcribed music. Brindama, for example, she published a book on Chavalis, where she wrote the notation like probably about almost like 20 times as simple as what she would actually sing. So the notation will make it very, very friendly, very easy to see. And then if you learn from the notation, then later on you heard her sing, you will actually see the kind of monumental difference between the two. So the kind of details, and even when they visualize music, your notation writing skills is also a reflection of how you visualize music. For Brindama, will be the way that they may say it, but the way they would sing would be kind of thing. The way the anuswarams, all they would leave it for their personal visualization and not actually notate things. So like this, there have been so many different approaches to notation writing. So now let's jump into the actualities of how we do this. If you were to look at it historically, Vedic notation just had three notes at that time, or a high note, a low note, and a neutral note. So they would put a vertical line or a horizontal line to denote the high and low notes, and leave nothing, put nothing for the middle note. But then later on, the seven swaras started happening, and then Bharata mentioned Shadjam, Rishabham, and all that. Then later on, several other authors started codifying Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni, the short notes system. And then if you see some of the early prabandhas of music, they were very, very simple with just some notes written and not much marks for higher octaves, lower octaves, speeds, and all these kind of things. But later on, the notation system started getting more and more perfected. By the time we had people like Subbarama Dikshitar and Tachur brothers. Tachur brothers are the ones who have composed the Vasanta Varnam, Ninnu Kori and all that. And Subbarama Dikshitar is the direct lineage of Muthuswami Dikshitar's family. So he brought out the Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini. And before that, and around that period, there are also people who started trying to write Carnatic music in Western staff notation. There have been some publications where there were attempts being made to directly adopt the Western staff notation to write Carnatic songs. Now, the Carnatic system itself got very sophisticated in the notation writing later on. And we have very precise symbols. And I'm going to illustrate some of these with the help of my disciple Raghav, Dhruv Patangi. So, because he can handle this whiteboard or blackboard or whatever is there, which we can do a screen share. And he will illustrate some of these things. Raghav, are you there? Is there any way to pin him also?
Yes, sir.
Soumya? So that they can see. And why don't you just get into the screen share and first show like the basic Sarali verses or something, how they are notated. So we start, nowadays we are using not S-A-R-I-G-A kind of thing. We just use S-R-G-M-P-D-N for this Sarigama Padani.
So,
Yeah, this is Sampradaya, right?
yeah, just
Yeah. So PCM1, Sarali Versi especially. Before that, just go little more to the intro. Notation. Actually, there is notation. Should be a particular thing there, right? No, go up to the chapter 1 or even the intro. Go to the preface. Preface.
we don't.
You'll be able to see something like basic. I've also given how to pronounce things. The pronunciation guide should be there. Okay, this is a guide to pronunciation that you can all get this perfecting Carnatic music level 1 and 2, in which we have actually tried to make the pronunciations rather easy on the eye. Okay, how they are supposed to pronounce using many of the common words we have tried to give, even for not only the long vowels but also the hard syllables like ka, kha, ga, kha, na, nga, and all these kind of things. So just go down slightly.
Then we don't. Then it goes to the introduction parts.
Yeah, it goes to the introduction, then go down to the practical. Yeah. Now these are just, let's take a look at the notes just for understanding. So we are looking at these notes which are with parallels to the Indian and Western systems. And then slightly below that, you will also start seeing how the 16 notes in Carnatic are used. Usually a subscript is a good idea, especially if the raga has foreign notes. Now, for example, if you want to notate in a raga like Asaveri, which will use Re 1 and Re 2. So that is the Shuddha Rishabham as well as Chaturshuddha Rishabham. So these kind of things you will need to know to use. But if there are foreign notes, sometimes authors also put like a star on top, like a superscript. Okay, so you can go down. Yeah, and just let's also quickly look at the tala symbols. Now, the main bulk of Carnatic compositions are in talas, which are based on the Sapta talas these days. There are actually other systems or other sets of talas, like 108 talas, which use 7 angams: Anudhritam, Dhritam, Laghu, Guru, Plitam, Kakapadam, and in between there is something called the Dhrita Viramam or Dhrita Shekaram. But here we are only using nowadays only Anudhritam, Dhritam, and Laghu. So that's the way the notation systems are. Now just go down further, and if you want to denote the laghu, just go slightly up to show the laghus. If you are putting a notation for Chaturashra Jati Dhruva Talam, you will actually put a laghu symbol with that 4, which is because Chaturashra Laghu is 4 units. This will be all on top of the tala, the song, so that students can get an idea of the structure of the tala. So it will show this 4, and then the symbol for rhythm is 0, and then laghu with 4 and another laghu with 4. So that will be the way these talas will be notated in some books. Let's go down slightly.
The gati.
Yeah. Gati also, gati changes, I will come to that. That's a little more sophisticated for notation. We can actually go to the practical exercises. Yeah. Now slightly go up. Go, yeah. There you see notation. So now these are the basics. You can take a screenshot of all this if you want. How to actually denote the basics of notes. All of you can feel free. I'll pause. Or as I'm talking, you can take screenshots. So now we are looking at sa or any note. Typically, that will just be 1 unit. And there are other systems. Some people actually use a capital sa for 2 units and small sa for 1 unit and all that. But I'm actually focusing on the most easy way to do this. Forget caps and small and all these things. It will really not look very comfortable on the eye also. And there are also systems of notation where they use a comma for 1 unit of space and a semicolon for 2 units of space. A lot of publications do this, but nowadays it's easier to just denote everything with a comma. Just keep putting comma after comma if there is space. Now, for example, ninnu ko, ninnu, so so ga will have 1 extra space. So that means you write ga and then a comma. Second ga also same thing. Li, yi, will have 4 units in all, including the re. So you put re and then 3 commas like this. And then we have dots below the note for lower octaves and dots above the note for higher octaves. And then you have this single vertical bar to denote a section of a tala. Now, for example, if you take Adi Tala, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the beat of the tala, the first beat, then you have another beat followed by this wave of the hand, another beat. So wherever this beat is going to occur, you're going to put this vertical bars just before that for you to denote that section of the tala. And at the end of each cycle, you put 2 bars like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The first beat will have nothing, no symbol there. So you'll just have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have as a vertical bar, then the next beat. Then you will have one more vertical bar and one more unit, after which you put 2 of these vertical bars to denote the end of the cycle. Now, if the tala is not Adi Tala, you'll still follow the same kind of thing. Maurupaka talam, if you want to do, after one beat, you put this, then one beat and then another beat. There is nothing because it's actually a rhythm. At the end of it, you'll start putting these 2. Mr. Chapu, 1, 2, 3, then you put a bar, 1, 2, put another bar, 1, 2, the final 1, 2, then you put another 2 bars. Because Mr. Chapu is basically is nothing but Tishra Jati Tripuratalam abridged form. So, this is the basic idea. If you want to do Sankirna Jati Dhruvatalam, one composition. So, Sankirna Jati Dhruvatalam is Sankirna Lagu, which is 9 units. So, you have to put this bar only after 9th unit, and then there's a dhritam. So, after that 2, you are putting one more vertical bar. Then, after another 9, 1 bar. After another 9, how many bars? At the end of the tala, anybody can answer?
Please raise your hand because everybody's been.
Yeah, somebody can unmute and say. At the end of that, yeah, very good. At the end of the cycle, 2. Okay. And then lyrics are written exactly below the swaras. Now you will notice that the swaras are all single alphabets, but the lyrics can have even like 4 alphabets. Now, if you want to write Sha, it is KSHA. So you have to make sure that you leave enough space in between the notes so that long syllables or compound syllables are having enough space to fall exactly in between the notes, below the notes. You get this picture? Now, nin, nu, kori, nin is actually going to have 3 letters. Gaya, gaya. So that between that ga with a space, you should write exactly below that nin. And then nu is going to be below the next ga. And then there is going to be a space in that nu. So you're going to be putting 1 dot. So for notes, you write commas, and for lyrics, you put dots. People actually wrongly put hyphens for the notes or the lyrics. That should be avoided because hyphens actually denote only separation of musical or lyrical phrases. They are important. For example, when you do this, you will write everything in chunks of 4 because this is actually in the third speed of the tala. In that space, is 4. That's going to happen in the first beat. Ga ma re ga, second beat. Ma pa ma ga ma re ga re. Ma pa ma ga ma re ga re will be the way the 4/4 will be split. But the phrase is like ma pa ma ga ma re ga re. So you have to put ma pa ma and then a hyphen before that ga comes within that same beat. Ma pa ma ga ma re ga re. Sa re ni sa da re sa re ga ma. So the da re sa re ga ma 6 notes are going to be one phrase. Sa re ga ma pa da. Another 6 notes is going to be one phrase. So this phrase separation is where hyphens are used. And then you see the sections, Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanam will be usually abbreviated as P, A, P, or C, or even just P, A, and C. Now, if you look at Sarle Versi, I'm actually going to show, just go slightly up, Raghav. No, up to the header. Yeah. So here we have actually in this book, we have tried to follow a very easy on the eye kind of style with a lot of space between the notes to make it very easy for people. The font size, everything has been very carefully thought out in our book. And here, if you see the header, Raga, Maya, Madagola, we have put diacritics. Okay. And Tala, Adi, and all this, we have put diacritics with a bar on top and with a dot below the L to denote the hard consonants and all this. So similarly, then you put the Arohanam, Arohanam, and then you put the Melakarta here because Maya Malagula is the Mela itself, you have put like this. And then if you look at this first Sarli, we'll say as an example, it is written in the first beat. That means there is one note per beat. Okay. Can anyone tell me how many notes per beat are there in the second speed? You can unmute and say it. Yeah. Somebody is texting.
Sure.
You can also say it. Unmute. Yeah. Two notes. The third speed?
4.
4 notes.
Four. Very good. 4. So now the Sarli Versi we have also shown in the first speed in this exercise here. Okay. And so everything is only one note. So Sa is going to be in one, Tri is going to be the next, Ga is the next, and Ma is the next. And then you are actually having this vertical bar because before Pa, it's going to be a beat. And then after that, one more vertical bar, then Nisa is going to be 2, right? So this is the way it is written in the first beat. Now, the raga of this, can you go slightly down? And now we can see how the same Sarli Vasi can be written in the second speed, third speed, and fourth speed. This is why my book is very important because you get all this jnana effortlessly. Now you see second speed is going to have 2 notes per beat. So typically second speed, the way I'm showing is I'm also showing all the 8 beats for you to understand. But in reality, what you will do, Sa, Ri, Gama, Pa, then Nisa, then you put a vertical bar. Tani, Dapa, then another vertical bar. Magarisa, then you put 2 vertical bars. And third speed, similarly. Sari, Gama, Pa, then Nisa, Sani, Dapa, Magarisa, then you put 1 vertical bar. Sari, Gama, Pa, then Nisa, then 1 vertical bar. Sani, Dapa, Magarisa, 2 vertical bars. Fourth speed is going to be like this and then so on. Okay. So this is the way to do this. Now, the other important thing, Jante verses, in many books, they are wrongly notated. They will actually notate 2 notes per beat in Jante verse. It's not like that. It's always 1 note per beat, whether it is Sarle verse, Jante verse, Alankaram, or anything. So, this is the way we are supposed to sing. But because the notation is misleading, a lot of people actually start singing Jante Verse itself in the second speed as they are learning. And this is a very, very beautiful example to show how mistakes can be made in singing if the notation itself is wrong. So we have to have the clarity of thought while we understand this whole concept. First speed doesn't change. It will only have 1 note per beat, irrespective of what you're singing in life. Similarly, third speed will always have only 4 notes per beat, whether it's a kriti or a varnam, it's going to be like that. And fourth speed will be having 8 notes per beat. So these basics are very important for us to understand the music correctly and notate them correctly. So Raghav, just go down slightly. And if you just go to the fourth one, just show the fourth one. Yeah. Now you see, so you are putting this hyphen after this sasari. So that is very important for us to understand the structure of that. We are still singing 1 note per beat or 2 notes per beat. In third speed, you'll be singing 4 notes per beat. But it's all noted in the first speed only. But these hyphens are very important for us to understand. Now let's look at the next one. Without these hyphens, people will not split the phrases correctly in their singing or playing. And that will have a huge detrimental impact on the music because it will sound like noodles. You won't know where what starts and where what ends. You all understand this? So that is very, very important aspect of notation writing. Hyphenate the phrases. As you are learning, you should do all these things. If your guru is actually teaching you a varnam, ga ga re ga re sa re ga ga pa da da sa re ga 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 da ba ga re ga ga sa da ba ga re. So on one side, you have to be writing it in chunks of 4 in the varnam because it's in third speed. But after every ga ga, you have to have the hyphen. Ga ga re ga re sa re ga ga pa da da sa re. This is what is called as accent in Western music. For that, they have a different symbol. They have like a lesser than kind of symbol for the accent. But in our systems, we use more hyphenations for denoting the phrases. We can go slightly down, Raghu, to the next page, the one after the R. Now look at what I spoke about has been explained here. Jante verse also, it's going to be only sa sa re re ga ga ma ma, only 1 note per beat. Second speed will have sa sa re re ga ga ma ma pa pa re re ni ni sa sa within the Ravikiran. Then third speed will be like this, and fourth speed, so and so forth. Okay. Now let's actually move on to Alankarams just a bit. I'm trying to cover as much ground for all of you, but you can always look at the entire YouTube video more, then I'll come to some questions. Now look at the Alankarams, exactly what I mentioned. We are highlighting what Laghu it is by the subscript, which is the symbol of Laghu, which is a vertical bar also. And then the subscript will say the Laghu type. Just go down to Mishra Jati Champatalam. And the symbol for Dhritam is 0. Now, if you look at this Mishra Jati Jampatalam, you are actually looking at the Laghu of 7. And then there is this Anudhritam. Actually, that symbol is half circle or a crescent that's missing in this. It should be there. And then you have the symbol for Dhritam, which is there. But the symbol for Laghu, you see the subscript is 7 because it's Mishra Jati Champatalam. Similarly, Tishra Jati Triptadalam. And go to Khanda Jati Atadalam, you'll see a bar with 5s. So this is the way to notate. And then Sankirna Jati Ekatalam also we have actually given with a Laghu, which is 9 units. Okay. So now, before we go on to the next part of it, I will throw it open for any questions.
Sir, I have,
So you can stop screen sharing, Raghu, for a moment.
sir, I have posted a question to you from YouTube from one Sujata Tyagarajan. She has posted. I have sent it to you.
No, you just read it out.
So she has asked, please let us know the right way to denote a jaru, ascending, descending, spuritam.
I'll definitely. Ascending, descending, what?
Ascending, descending, spuritam for jante notes, kampita, and some other gamakams. Please elaborate lagus that come from a higher note, something.
Definitely. Yeah, we will be getting to those things too. I'm just gradually taking you from the most important basic things to advanced things. So we will be covering those things. So just remember to ask that question to me slightly later. Hold the thought.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
State your name and ask the question. It's easier for us.
Aniketana Sharma.
Okay.
I'm from Bangalore. So I need to know about that Mishra Jati Jampatala one demonstration.
So Mishra Jati Laghu basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So so before that ga, you have to put a vertical bar. Then the next is going to be immediately another vertical bar because it's going to have another beat there. Ga, ma again after the vertical bar. Then after the ma, you put a comma and then you put 2 vertical bars for the end of the consonant. But if you're going to write in the second speech, it will be slightly different where you have to cover every note in sets of 2. What's your question? Any follow-up?
Yeah, that hyphen was there, no? After ga. That how do we differentiate?
Sorry?
That hyphen was there, no? After ga, sa, ri, ga. After that hyphen.
Yeah.
How?
Basically, that is one way to visualize the music. Instead of just visualizing sa, ri, ga, sa, ri as one phrase, sa, ri, ga, sa, ri. So if you just visualize it like this, then learning also is easier. Then you highlight it better. You are able to sing with more emotion. So sari ga. See how I'm accenting all those places. Sari ga ma ga ma. Instead of singing it like that, hyphenating it correctly will actually enable us to give more force, accents where it's required. So that's why we put that hyphen. Right from day one, I would like students to get all these things correctly in their minds. Because to me, voice culture starts from mind culture. And mind culture actually starts from ear culture. So your gurus have to sing it correctly. But at least we are putting in this notation system so that you try to visualize it like this. Sariga, sarigama. Like that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
State your name and then.
Sir, I am Mahati from USA, sir.
Okay.
Sir, how Misra Chapu and Tisra Jati Triputa Tala are same?
Basically, if 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So the beats fall upon 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you are doing it very fast, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, you can't be putting all these finger counts and all these rhythms and all that fully. So what happens? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. You just put only the beats in those times. This is the origin of chapus actually. And a lot of people would be telling you that Khanda Chapu is Mishra Jati Jampatalam, which is completely wrong. It's actually Chaturashra Jati Matetalam. It is basically beats in the ratio of 2, 1, 2. Okay, so Chaturashra Jati Matetalam is ratio 4, 2, 4. That is actually the ratio of 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will look weird if we put tala this fast and when we are singing. If you keep putting, we'll actually look more like, from an ancient circus club or something. So people started only putting the beats in this kind of talas. Now, if you look at some kshetrajna padams, they will actually put full Tishra Jati Tripuradalam because the piece is very slow. You cannot sing it in Mishra Chapu. So you have to show all the angams for that song to come through. So that we see in our practical situations. So Mishra Chapu basically is 3:2:2 ratio. So that is very important for us to understand that these Chapu talas are abridged versions. The theoreticians will say a lot of things for this origin of the word Chapu and all that. One of the theories is that these Chapu talas in Tamil, from the Tamil word, these are like uneven meters. They are not even numbers, 7. So it's 3 plus 2 plus 2. So it has got 3 on one side, 2 and 2. So it's slightly leaning. Chaipu talam, Abdullah they'll say. But that is like a slightly far-fetched kind of interpretative idea, in my opinion. Basically, Chapu, irrespective of how the term came, in reality, it is just abridged talas, abridged forms of larger talas. Now, if you look at Rupaka talam also, really speaking, it is Chaturashra Jati Rupaka talam. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we are really doing is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what we are doing there. But there we are also showing a dhritam, just for us to make it, for it to be easier for us when you're putting the talam. But if the song is too fast, we won't even show that. This is the way we'll actually do it faster. If we can't even show the we'll just put it as Tishra Gati Aditala or even Tishra Jampu, like this.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, my name is Akhil, sir.
Yeah, you are a little bit of echo in your mic. Can you speak up?
Sir, my name is Akhil, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt in Sankirna Jati Ekataram, sir. How do we put the talam?
Yeah, basically, Ekatalam is only one lagu. Okay. So you just put the lagu. If it's Sankirna Jati Ekatalam, you just put a Sankirna lagu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it. So once you cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you have to go back to the little finger only. 7, 8, 9. So that will be the way you put the tala. So that is why that ekatalam we would have put only one lagu symbol followed by 9. There is no other angam to the tala, ekatalam. Usually in books we'll actually give chaturasha jati ekatalam. Most of the Alankarams will only say chaturasha ekam, but I wanted the Sankirnam also to be introduced in the Alankaram. So I actually gave Sankirna jati ekatalam for people to get introduced to that jati, the lagu.
That means how do we sing it?
How do you think, in my book, if you buy or if you go to Acharya Net, all these Alankarams I have taught not only the 7 Tala Alankarams, but also the 35 Tala Alankarams. Now, for example, there are Alankarams to Tishra Jati Dhruva Talam, Mishra Jati Dhruva Talam, Khanda Jati Dhruva, all these things. I have done a full course on the 35 Tala Alankarams also. So when you, this particular Sankirna Ekam, Sare Gama Padani Re Gama Padani Sani Da Pamagare Ne Da Pamagare. So second speed, Sare Gama Padani Re Gama Padani Sani Da Pamagare Ne Da Pamagare. Sare Gama Padani Re Gama Padani Sani Da Pamagare Ne Da Pamagare. Like this.
Thank you.
Sir, I have one question from YouTube. Shreyas Balakrishna has asked, what is Orikai Gamaka mentioned in Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini? Vidushi Vidya Shankar mentions another Orikai Gamaka apart from the one mentioned in SSP. What is the difference, Abdina?
Again, that is too advanced level for now. For this particular course, I'm going to only cover the basic Gamakas because see, there are, I'll come to the chapter because that section, certain symbols are optional in the notation system. We will show a screenshot of SSP also if necessary, and just make you have a glimpse of various ways of notating. But what I want to focus today is how to get the maximum with the minimum kind of things that are needed for the books. That is why perfecting Carnatic music examples I'm showing for you to understand what are the most essential things. And it's also important for us to know what is friendly on the eye when we're looking at it. Everything that we sing, if you're going to be putting symbols, that is better for only for personalized notations. I'll come to the personalized versus publication kind of approaches to notation writing. I will cover that. Okay. So shall we now look at a couple of examples of notating Geetams? Raghu, you can go back to the screen share. First, I'm going to show these things and then I will just sing some small phrases that then you can probably all have a pen and paper or something handy so that if I sing a couple of phrases, you should be able to. Now look at this first Geetam. This is exactly what I was talking about. So we are putting the header in this. We have to mention here. I'm mentioning Geetam just for this book level. But then you are talking about the raga name and then the janyam, the scale, 15th mela. Here you need to know the names and numbers of all the 72 mela kathas. Most books will only give the mela number and not the name of the raga. Okay. So now you are looking at 15th means Mayamadagola basically. But still, despite saying this Mayamadagola, people, once you say Mayamadagola, we don't even have to put this Aroganam, the subscripts, because people who know Mayamadagola will automatically sing these notes correctly in Malagari. But because it's the basic level of Geetam level students that we were targeting, we have put the subscripts of the Shuddha Rishabham, Shuddha Madhyamam, Shuddha Daivatam. And then Shuddha Daivatam again in Antaragandharam is the only differentiating note in the Avarohanam. And you see how we put one vertical bar for Arohanam and two vertical bars for Avarohanam. So in other words, For every middle of the section, we just put one vertical bar. At the end of the entire cycle, we put 2 bars. This is the convention. But now more than anything, this Geetam starts with Charanam. Typically, when you sing Shri Gananatha, that's not the Pallavi. The Pallavi is actually Alankaram. Soumya, can you mute everybody else? I'm hearing too many things. Can I proceed?
1 minute, sir. Are you also
I
muted?
have unmuted myself, don't worry.
Okay.
So now you can hear me, right? So now you see this structure of this composition is highlighted because we are starting from Charanam 1. If the tune is similar for all the Charanams, you generally call it as Charanam. You don't call this Anupallavi. Okay. So Charanam 1, and then you see the Talam Rupakam. But here it is the expanded version of the Rupakam has been given. So if you sing it slowly, you can sing with all the Angas. Full Dhritam you put, and then you put the Chaturashalamu. If you sing the expanded version, it's going to be in first beat. That means 1 note per beat. But people typically sing in the abridged Rupaka Talam, right? So it'll have 2 notes for every beat of that version of the Tala. So you see the difference. No matter what you are doing it, expanded or abridged, the overall cycle is going to be 6 units only for that avartanam in this particular composition. Okay, go slightly above, and you see if you put like this, and then you are putting the beat also, or no matter what, this vertical bar comes in, and then 2 vertical bars comes at the end of all the 6 notes. So this is the way in which it's done. Now look at the high notes clearly marked with a dot above. All these things we have to be diligent about. Many people I see, they don't put all the dots correctly, and so when they actually sing the song, when they're learning the song, they get confused whether it's a higher octave or lower octave or middle octave. So they end up singing sometimes very incongruous kind of music because their notation writing is not precise. So we have to be diligent about putting all these things, and we have to put the beat marks. If we do not put the beat marks, our tala will be all over the place. And here also, it's very important for us to understand the structure. Now you see, exactly below that ma is that Shri. And then there is going to be one gap. Shri, ma, pa is Shri. So you're putting a dot there, right? And then you are putting Garnanatha. We have, of course, put diacritics. Garna, the hard na is with the dot below. Na, tha, in that na, that is only the soft na, but elongated a. Shri Gananath Sindura Varna. So, again, you see the notation here. So, you see where is a sin, where is a do, and where is a ra. Sindura Varna. A lot of people again sing this wrongly. Sindura Varna. That's how most people are taught, and the notation books also will say that. But it's not Sindura Varna, it is Sindura Varna. Okay? Sindura Varna Karuna Sagar Karibadana Lambo. Then you start a Pallavi. Lambodara Kumikara Amba Sutta Amara Vinota. All this is as usual. Now, just for example, show a Mishra Chapu song, maybe Kamala Jadala or some IFML. Go. Just a different raga for contrast. Yeah, so Deshakshi, yeah. Now, Deshakshi, a very rare raga, it's a janam of the 28th Melakartas, which is Hari Kambodi. Immediately, you should be able to grasp that. We have given it as Tishra Tripura deliberately because we want the children to first sing the expanded version of the Tala and sing the Geetam in the first speed. So, below the Arohanam, Avrohanam, Sariga Padesa, you see Re 2, Ga 3, and Da 2. And then, of course, you should know the 16 notes. You should be able to sing or play the 16 notes to sing, get all this correctly. If you do that, it's Bilahari. It will be with the knee 3, but this is with the knee 2. So we have to practice singing. We have to practice all this just looking at the notation itself. We should be able to practice these phrasings, which are different from Bilahari in this. So in this, again, if you see, I'm only notating it in the first speed for people to sing it slowly in Tisha. So we are compelling them to sing it slowly so that they learn it better in this. So the notation actually influences the way you approach the song itself. If I put this message up, people will sing it, then actually start learning in the tempo or teaching in the tempo. But we have deliberately put Tisha Tripura in this for people to start understanding how the tempo should be when they are learning this song. So these are all intended to tell you how precise notation is a sign of precise visualization of the tempo also. And that in turn is the precise influencer of students overall. Yeah. Muthukumarji, you have some question? You're on mute.
Namaste, Ravikiran. You mentioned, I mean, just a teacher-student thing. Is it advised to go use the Rupaka Talam, the typical 1-1-2 Rupaka Talam at all for Geetams? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, initially, gurus can teach both, in my opinion. They should teach the expanded one. The student can also be taught to sing in the abridged one because that is what is going to be used more in the concerts, right?
Okay.
So first,
No. My question was because that is the only place in the whole of the learning Rupaka Talam is used as 1, 2 plus 4, right? So I thought, I mean, like, then eschewing it would be like, like, I mean, I've never, it is just a.
no, your fair
I'm
point.
just curious.
Fair
I mean,
point.
like.
Yeah, fair point. But I would say that initially, we should teach them in the expanded Rupakatalam for them to get a feel of that correctly. The other place where it is actually taught, the expanded Tala is taught is, of course, in the Alankaram itself. When we sing it in multiple speed, we sing
I mean,
an
of course.
expanded version. And then there are compositions like Muthu Kumarayane, for example, by Ramaswamy Shivan, Mahavendra Shivan, where you have to sing it in the expanded version only for the song to really come through beautifully. If you sing it in the abridged version, the song structure won't really lend itself to that one. And then there could be certain, for example, when I composed my 35th Tala set compositions, I composed in the expanded version of the Rupaka Talam only for that. So like this, if you have some compositions, we do.
No, of course. I mean, SRJ sir insists that Dikshidhar compositions ought to be sung in that way, but since we are not used to, so it looks. I mean, there are people who insist.
Function of the Kala Pramanam, really. Okay. Now, if people don't have enough Kala Pramana Suddham,
this is the tempo. My guru used to sing this particular song. A lot of people sing this fast. The tempo Padwa. So that kind of tempo, if you are not having the Kala Pramana Suddham, there are two options. One is to sing in Tishrajati Ekatalam with 2 kalai each. That's what a lot of people do for Shri Subramaniam, Shri Manasa Guru and all this, right? So that is one option. The other option, you can also try to sing in the expanded version of the Rupakatalam. That is, that's the way it is.
But that again, I would say is at the advanced level, it's artists.
No, but a good point that you said. I mean, like children ought to be taught in both, just because the other one is the most commonly used. I mean, that's what my question was about. But thank you, thank you for your.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, so coming to this Deshakshi also, same thing which Shri Muthukumar made. Here also you learn it in Tishajati Tripurtalam initially, and then later on when you're getting very comfortable, you can actually sing it slightly faster tempos. That is, for example, Padumanabha, the previous one, just go to the fourth Gita. This tempo also you can start singing after you get the comfort. Like this. After that, you can get to the speed. Okay. So now let's move on to PCM2, Raghav. Can you just show? But before that, just go down, scroll down to show the meaning. For example, these are all extra things that we have given in our book. Simply the gist of the song, we have just given the meaning. Okay. So these are not really part of notation writing, but they are extra information that enhances the learning experience for students right from day one. Let's go to PCM2 to show a couple of things in the Kriti notation. Yeah, show Varnam maybe before that. Yeah. Now look at this basic Varnam. Of course, before that, we are given key phrases. This is going to be covered a little bit in the notating alapana, transcribing alapana kind of thing, but this is like very basic things. If I'm doing this, I intend people to sing that ga with 3 karves. That means in this place, the ga has gamakam in Mohanam, so you have to sing that gamakam 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's the way it has to be. So, again, the pa is plain here, but you still give 3 units in the pa. That means all this is a part of visualizing music correctly. If you do, you won't even know how many karves you're actually giving there. But if you actually are precise even in this, at this stage, your alapanas at the advanced level, there is a sense of kala pramanam even in alapanas within the phrase. So our understanding of all these details will be exponentially enhanced, and our music will be of a much, much higher order. This doesn't mean the music will be robotic or mechanical or, just a heartless kind of precision. We still have to start giving emotion and aesthetics the most importance at any stage of our lives, but with a greater understanding of the details also. Gapada padas dasrida darida. So you can think there is with even 2 karves, but I have given 3 here because I want people to start practicing this even in non-compositions. There is and you see how I have hyphenated everything for these are different phrases. So like this, I've just given a basic glimpse of how you can sing phrases. Now, if you look at this Varnam, what we have done is we have put all Varnams are composed in 3rd speed. So we have actually bunched everything in 4 notes per beat, which means we have actually made everything in groups of 4s. But within the groups of 4s, you will also start seeing hyphens here and there. In the 3rd line, there is a hyphen. After the 6th note, there's a hyphen. You have to look at this and practice it exactly because a hyphen is after the 3rd note here, but the beat is going to come 1 note later, right? So here, you are actually going to be using two layers are there, if you notice. The basic structure, tala-wise, is going to be the basic layer of 4/4 in this case. But then within that layer, there is also going to be, instead of 4 plus 4 in these two beats, you are having 3 plus 3 plus 2 within that. So that's a second layer. So this second layer of detail is very important for good musical expression, and that has to be notated when you are learning. If you do not notate these hyphens correctly, you will learn the phrases wrongly, and then the raga will not come through. All this that we are doing here is to improve our grasp of the raga so that we are able to highlight the raga best. And in this case, since it's a pre-composed piece of music, highlight the composer's vision of the song also. You all understand this point? It's extremely important for us to be diligent about this. Now, in lyrics, somebody is asking whether we should hyphenate the lyrics. But if you see, if you are writing the lyrics on top of the song, there is already space between the words. Ninnu Kori, Yunanura, Nikhila, Loka, Nayaka. So there is already space given. So if you are writing the lyrics on top, then no need to hyphenate them separately in the notation at all. You should just get the Nannu Palimpa, Samaya Mura, Namida Kripa Jodara, Sannutanga Srinivasa. So we have to just look at the lyrics and see where the spacings are. So when you are learning, the spacing could be all over the place sometimes. Ninnu Kori. So there is 8 for that 3 in this case, right? So the spaces that is given, the dots, you have to respect the dot, and you have to respect the commas when you're singing the notes. When you're learning initially, accent all these commas also. Just don't sing instead of that. Just accent it mildly so that your tempo is perfect. That's very, very important when we are learning. And at any stage, we should be able to go back to the drawing board and be able to sing it that way too. And after some time, if you think also, then I don't need to be accenting it every time for my tempo to be good. But typically in Varnams, mild accent, not over accent. Ninnu not Ninnu. You don't have to over accent either. So these are all ways in which you understand the notation and you also write the notation. Okay. Let's go down further.
Excuse me, sir. There is one question from Arya.
It'll be. I'll address it when I'm giving question time. Okay. Just hold the thought. I'll come back to that. But before that, let's look at the Mukta Iswaram here. All these sections are marked very clearly. Okay. So you have to understand that you can mark it in the top just before you are writing the lyrics. But in sometimes, if you can also do it in the side, just the abbreviation, P for Pallavi, A for Anupallavi, C for Charanam kind of things. Yeah, let's go down further. Again, we would have given some very summarized meaning of the song. Now, just let's go to one Kriti just as an example. Keep scrolling down all the way, Raghav. Before they go to Viriboni Varna, just, okay, here I have also shown an illustration of how to sing the Varnam in the 3rd speed, which is the original speed that is composed in, and the 4th speed, which is the double of the 3rd speed. A lot of people say sing the Varnam in 1st speed and 2nd speed. Actually, you are singing in absolute terms, that's the 3rd speed and the 4th speed. Understand this very clearly. You will never sing Varnam with 1 note per beat. Okay? But if you're singing Varnam in 3 speeds, you'll sing in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th speeds in absolute terms. So now that's just an example of how to sing 8 notes per unit. And then I just gave it only for the first Varnam. Rest of it has to be extrapolated. Okay, and also see the notation symbols also keep changing there, right? You see where the half marks come and then the final vertical bars come. And then let's go down. Just go to Viriboni just to show
Khanda Jati Atadalam, how to notate. As a glimpse, it's not going to be very different. You're just going to be diligent about putting that in a correct structure. Okay, here again, also look at the headers. These are all essential for good notation writing. These are all what you can call today in modern terms, notation hygiene. Okay, so you have to have all this raga name and tala name. You see, this is left aligned, that will be right aligned usually. And then arohanam. Raga name itself will also say the scale. In this case, it's not a very. And then the composer name will be usually right aligned. So these are all very good books which have been following this kind of precedence. And then in this case, of course, we are also giving some very important information about the raga. These are all optional. And then we give the lyrics, of course, before. Some books may not. So just go slightly to the next part of the page. Yeah. Now see Khanda Jati Atatalam, how I am notating this. In this case, we are showing one lagu in one line. And this varnam starts after 2 units. So we have put a star here to actually denote the start of the composition. There will be just like a preface to that. Original thing will be always the prominent part where it is starting is going to be this third beat in Atatala Varnams. So we have actually put the star at the beginning of everything for us to understand where the actual cycles, the real cycle begins in the composition. The physical cycle of the tala is actually starting in the first part of first beat itself, but the actual compositional cycle starts only in the third beat. This is very important for us to understand. Okay, and now you see in that second avartanam, you see that second da is alone given the da2 symbol, the subscript of 2, because that is the foreign note in this raga for all intents and purposes. In Facebook, I have posed a question of what are the other foreign notes in this. That's a very advanced thing. In the Varnam, that doesn't happen. So just look at this. Okay. So foreign notes are denoted like this in many compositions. As I said, some other composers, some other authors may sometimes put a star that we have put here in this case. They may put it for the foreign note also. Now let's go. So this is for Varnams. Raga, why don't you show from this Saptaratna Navavarana Kriti or Saptaratna Kriti, just show a song. So now I can take some questions as he's looking for that book. So Nupur, what is the question?
Sir, Arya had one question.
Namaste, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm Aditya from Hyderabad. I have a quick question. Like in the Mohana Varnam, which we're saying, in that phrase marking is done in few places, right, sir? So is it not necessary that every phrase has to be marked like Gapa Gagari sa Rigari sa the Sarigari Gapa, all those phrases will come, no, sir? So in that it is not required.
Typically in my book, I avoided putting a phrase mark just before vertical bar. Okay, that is just my personal thing, just to make the notation not very unfriendly on the eye. But typically what you do, there also the mark will come. Like this. So in typical things, we'll have to put the marks there also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are showing a slightly advanced composition. This is one by Uttukadame Katakavi, his fantastic 8th Kamakshi Navavarana Kriti. This is, and there we have given also the Chakram name information we have given in the right hand side, the right hand corner, top right. And 8th Avarana Kriti we have actually given as a central header. Raga name, of course, Arohanam. These are all Raga name.
Tala name, composer name is must. But in this book, this is entirely Uthikadu Venkatakavi's composition book, so we didn't need to keep mentioning the composer's name for each song. Okay. Now, this is Adi Talam. And then after the lyrics, go down to the notation part. Now, the Pallavi, we are actually having all these things happening in Chaturshagati. The song is predominantly, but wherever there is Tishragati change, Venkatakavi was a master of Gati Bedams within the composition. So he would transition. So he actually transitions midway through the Tala into Tishragati. Shankari Shri Raja Rajeshwari Sarvasiddhi Pradayaka. He transitions to threes there itself. So until then, we are having 4 notes per beat. But then all this is in Chaturshagati. But then is only three notes per beat. So you see, after the 6th note in the Dhritam, the first Dhritamar will come, and then at the end of the next 6 notes, the next end of the Avartana mark comes. And then the next entire line is going to be in Tishragati. Then it transitions back to Chaturshagati. So we have to denote all these things. This is very important for us to be accurate in representing what the composition is and practicing it that way. Then Anupallavi starts itself in Tishragati. So we have put that in this. Madhyama Kalam also is in Tishragati in Anupallavi. And then Charanam goes back to Chaturshagati fully in 2 different speeds. So it starts with a slow speed, and then there's the Madhyama Kalam of Chaturashram also ends. So this is the way to do the Gati change, representing it. But if you actually go slightly up to the Anupallavi again, you will actually see, okay, show the Madhyama Kalam itself. Yeah. So you see only 12 notes will be there in the space of where 16 would be otherwise there in Chaturashagati, right? So you're having 3 in the space of 4. So that's very important for us to understand correctly and notate correctly. So when we are writing notations, verify, cross-check whether you are writing correctly 4 notes per beat, and that is adding up to 32. If something is not adding up, then you would have missed out some comma, or you would have given extra space somewhere. All these things we have to verify, cross-check, because they're a very precise system of notating. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Now I can take.
What about the double speed?
And yeah. Let's also look at this Tishram. We are also having one part of this. If you look at this 3rd line, that rima is double speed. So you are underlining it once. You are again underlining the rima. Then the next line, that Panipama. So you notate it, then you have to sing exactly in double speed. You can't sing slightly faster than what the rest of the songs. It should be precise doubling of the speeds. And that is what is there. So quadruple speed, you will actually underline twice. So this is the convention for us to follow. Okay. So this is a way to show multiple speeds within the same line. So that part alone will be double speed. Now, I'll quickly cover. I know that it's pretty extensive for one day, but I'll quickly give a glimpse of other Gamaka marks. These are all optional. Raghav, do you have like your blackboard or whiteboard or whatever your...
Sir, it is a whiteboard which anybody can write. So it is editable.
Yeah. So now, somebody can just... Who's am I seeing right now? Who's... Okay, Raghav. Okay, so now just write Sari. How many carvings are there for that re?
I think somebody else is also editing it.
Can some is there a way for only ragas to be shown, Soumya?
Uh, okay.
Because
I
I'm
would
seeing too
request
many.
everybody to not. I'll try to figure that out, but okay. In the meantime, I request everybody to not edit
Yeah,
on the
all of
whiteboard.
you can just observe initially when I show, then I'm going to dictate some phrases for you to write yourselves. Okay. So for now, just disable your whiteboards so that you just see how it is done first and then we can get. Who's am I
Yes,
seeing
sir.
now?
Yeah, I'm the one who's ready.
Okay, I'm not able to see Sari yet.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not showing the full screen for some reason.
Somebody else is also trying to write.
Okay. Somebody else is trying to write means am I seeing multiple things right now?
No. Now I erased them all. I am writing
Okay,
it
erase
again.
everything, only you just write. Yeah. Yeah, use only capital letters for everything. First,
Okay.
let's only use caps. Don't use small letters at all. All of you try to use only capital letters for the notes and small letters for lyrics as appropriate. Okay, so the ye. So you're having 4 for the re. Now that re, if it's a raga like Shankarabaranam, that re is going to be oscillated. So you can just put a small wave on top of the re. Okay, Raghav, can you just put a small, yeah. This is just an option for you to understand that re is oscillated. You understand? Sari, gap, that ga is oscillated very minimally. If it's a raga like Hamsadhani, you can put a smaller kind of a wiggle gap. But no, just a wave, but much smaller in terms of its amplitude, basically. Even smaller. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So this is just again gap, gap. So erase this and just put gap, gap. Yeah. So now that ga is taken from the past. So just put an arrow from above that ga. Arrow or just a line vertical. No, just a yeah. Or just even a glide, yeah, line. It doesn't have to be actually an arrow, just a straight line also is okay for us to. These are all personalized notation ways for you to just understand logically. You don't need to put a full-fledged arrow actually. Just a line, kind of a cross line that can just happen there. Yeah. Slightly wider so that, and then bracket you can put the pa on top if you want, so that you know that it is coming from that path. Okay. So these are all just personalized type of thing. But in reality, don't be using all this if you want to publish something or share with others. This is just for you to learn these kind of things. So these are the easiest ways in which you can understand how the notes are connected. Now, for example, if you are doing that in say Kedaragola, 4 cards to the re. Just write that raga. Right somewhere in the middle of the board, so that I can see it.
Okay.
Okay. No carving for any of the notes. Okay. Now, what is missing in this?
The dot above re.
not above the re and sa. Okay, ma, oscillate the ma. Then ma, ni, re. So that sa and re are connected. So just put a small wave connecting the sa, and not a wave, but just a curve. Right. That's a glide mark. Okay, these are all common sense ways in which for you to notate. You don't have to go into complicated kind of notation systems for understanding. These are the basic things. You have to understand that when you're writing plain notes or moving notes, the notes, either the notes themselves will move or there'll be movement between the notes. So here in this ma, the note movement is on itself, whereas in the sa, to re, the note movement is between the notes. So there you are just connecting those two notes. It's a glide there. Okay. Now I can take any other questions before we wind up.
Sir, I have some questions for.
Yeah.
There is one question.
Thank you, Raghav. You can stop screen sharing and you can turn off the blackboard. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. Namaste. This is Jwalant Krishna from Chennai, sir. And I've had this doubt for quite a long time. Like Chapus, Mishram, Kandam, and Chapus like that. Are there Chapus that have odd time signatures like 17 or something? Like takita takita takadimi, takita takadimi, takita takita takadimi, takita takadimi, something like that.
Okay, basically, see, 17 means it's actually Khanda Jati Dhruva Talam is the longer form of that 17. Okay. So there is a tala with a longer form of that 17. So if you want to very strictly put tala, chapu, you should really put takata gita, takata gita, takata gita. If you really want to do that in the correct way. But when we are now looking at, say, something like Tiruppugal of Arunagirinathar, then, you have a beat for the kind of accent that he is giving within that, right? It's the meter, the chanda talams of Arunagirinathar. You will follow the chandam as your guiding principle.
Okay.
These kind of things, you will actually let the accents guide you. So that is for meter. But otherwise, if you are doing your own original composition in which you are doing kind of things, if you are doing, then that is your visualization of the 17 split in multiple ways. Then you just accent it either with hyphens or with beat marks. If it's very slow composition, beat marks. If it's a fast composition, only the 17 will be one cycle and you just hyphenate the important, phrases.
Okay, sir. So no name officially like Misram or Kandam exists for 70.
No. Only the names are for the 5 jatis. Chaturasha, Tishra, Mishra, Kanda, Sankirna. That is, those names are there only for those. But other things, talas are there. There is tala for 11 aksharams, Mishra Jati Triputa Talam.
Yes.
13 aksharams, you have Sankirna Triputa. There are talas for some of the other numbers. But they're all part of, now Mishra Jati Triputa Talam means it is Mishra Lagu plus truth rhythms, like that.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
For example, Khanda Jati Atatala Chapu. I have seen composition in Khanda Atta Chapu in Saraswati Mahal Library publication. So that means that means that composition would have been very fast for it to be rendered in full Khanda Jati Atatalam. So they would sing it as a Chapu that actually requires tremendous amount of skill to sing it fast in that kind of a configuration. So like this, there are talas like that, which were used, which actually tell you that musicians of those eras had phenomenal control over laya and tala. Today, we don't even use these kind of talas. So if we think that we are more advanced than them, we have to really look at history a little more.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt. So just now you said about Kanna and Chapu. So are they related with Chandra Talas that were used for Rupagan or something?
No, Tiruppugal is a law unto itself. Arunagirinathar was like, if you want to see God in just lyrics, you have to see Arunagirinathar. So he had his own vision of meter, tala, rhythms, poetry, and prosody and everything. So it is completely, there is no way to find a parallel, and you cannot fit him into any, you cannot pigeonhole him into any particular set of talas. His chandam is a tala. That's why it's called chanda tala. Whatever he dictated as a line, he would follow it right to the end. Phenomenally complicated chandas he has done. For example, he would split 31 in some unique ways, and he will maintain that entire integrity of that particular split throughout the composition. So that is just divine grace. There's no logical explanation. I have composed some similar meter-based pieces only because of the inspiration from him, just to see for myself what it really takes to compose something like this. But he has done literally thousands of such pieces. So that's why I didn't even call mine as Tirupuhar. I only call them as Shirupuhar. Because there's no way I'm ever going to match up to him.
Okay.
Namaste, sir. I have a question. No, sir. If there is a hyphen, a musical break within the same word, how do we connect them?
No, see. Now, if there is a hyphen, even if you're singing, I sang this whole thing in one breath, right? I didn't even breathe in between. So even then, even though I was doing that, I was accenting the correct points. So all these magama hyphen, pada hyphen, madapa hyphen, magari hyphen it either after 3 and 3 or after 6 itself. Fapa magari hyphen, pa magari hyphen, nedapa, resani, gadisa, magari, pa maga, dapa, fanida, risa, magari, sadini, risa, pada madapa, gamari, gama, like these hyphens are there. So either you accent them musically or you soften the last note of the previous phrase. So either ways, you have to highlight every phrase.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, the same hyphen technique, that notation thing, can we apply it in the Jatiswaram as well to grouping that?
Jatiswaram means Jatiswaram. See, you're still notating the notes only. You're notating. If you're talking about Jatis in rhythms, in percussion, if you're doing that dit tagadinatam, tagatakita, dit tagadinatam, tagatakita, if you're doing, again hyphenate the accents. Dit tagadinatam, hyphen, tagatakita, dit tagadinatam, hyphen, tagatakita, hyphen, tagadinatam, hyphen, like this.
Namaskaram, sir. Sir, I have a doubt. So when we have such phrases, so for in Madhyamavati we have this. So when these kinds of phrases come in a composition, how do we notate it neatly? So
yeah, basically, what is the notes? First, transcribe the notes. That's a note, right? Sarima, dots above. Re has a comma, right? Then that re also has an oscillation. So if you want to put an oscillation mark for the knee and the re, as in your personal notation, just put it so that you are able to understand it. And then if there is a sahityam to that, you put the sahityam exactly below that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a doubt. So, as you asked regarding the Gamaka symbol, for the basic student who wants to, who without knowing the Gamaka symbols, wants to know the correct way of saying it. So, shall we write the Anuswaram of the main note or something for the better understanding of the notes?
Yeah, see, the Gamaka symbols, as I told you, the easiest, the most essential Gamaka symbol is whether you're oscillating a note or you're connecting a note. Okay. Beyond that, the only other Gamaka symbol will be Spuritam. Ga, ga, pa, pa, kind of thing. Then if you want to write, typically if you practice Jante verses, then we don't even have to write it separately. The moment we see it or we hear from the Guru, ga, ga, pa, pa, ga, ga, pa, pa, da, pa, ga, ga, pa, pa, da, pa. The various ways to sing that particular phrase. So depending on the context and the way we do it, then in our personalized notation, we can write all these things. But in book publications, you would not see me doing that because the whole thing will look so unfriendly that people will just put off learning the song forever. The song should be inviting to learn. The notation should actually appear so simple that people want to learn the song. But at the end of the day, even when I do my workshops in Acharyanet, all of you would have noticed that I rarely give notations. Like some gurus give notations. I desist from doing that because I want people to transcribe. They have to spend the time to transcribe the music. And it may be a struggle initially, but we'll start getting better at it. I will, of course, explain the swaras many times when I teach, if it's a complicated phrase. But otherwise, people have to, that increases alertness, that increases our own abilities exponentially. So it's a benefit to not give notations, is what I believe many times. But there are some songs, if it is very complicated, then of course I also share notations.
In case of any complicated makams, like that can't be expressed in Spuritam or Jaru or something.
Jaru only, see that the Jaru only you just connect it, no? Sarana, right? It is there. That sa to sa is a Jaru. Just put a small curve between this sa and the high sa. So that should take care of the connection, right? So this is all just for our own understanding. Sharana, if somebody is going to want to sing like that, they may not even want to put a jaru there, right? So it is personalized notations, the way we sing. And apart from this, seriously, there is no other gamaka that really needs to be notated as such. Many of the dhatu swarams, for example, sari, riga, rima, that's technically a gamaka, but it's not notated. Just if you write the notes itself, it's skipping notes anyway. Dalu, saga, sama, sapa, sada, sadi, sasa. Taking one note, you are jumping to all other notes. That is dalu. Spuritam, if you write it correctly, people will sing it. Simply writing itself, people will sing that Spuritam correctly. In fact, a lot of people sing Spuritam even when it's not needed. The moment they see two notes, they sing it like a Spuritam. But those are all the responsibilities of the gurus. But again, as I said, we have to learn with the ears. Ears are 90%. The eyes are extra supplement for us to understand the music better. So notation writing skill is very, very important, but it's still only 10%. Your real learning should not be from YouTubes and recordings. It should be from gurus who have themselves learned it from other great gurus or other great musicians.
Sir, one question. Someone has asked, could you please share examples of notating Anuswara and explain with a padam in a Rakti Raga?
Yeah, if you are writing notation, see, for this we have to really go back to my notebook where I used to notate how Brindama taught me some of these padams. In my case, I would write everything. You know, that she sang. Means I would write it fully itself. Whereas in her brain, that's the way she would actually think of the thing. The way she would visualize only will be that, but the way she would sing would be very markedly different. So, because I didn't, she would not allow me to record the lessons, even though there were cassette players in those days. But at least she had gone progressive enough to allow me to notate at least. In earlier era, she was not even open to that. But by the time I learned from her, she was extremely progressive. So she allowed me to notate the songs. So I didn't want to miss out a single detail. So I would write the whole thing down. So when you think Padapa, will be in the slow speed. Padapa, double speed. further Bipama, that second Pama will be in almost quadruple speed. So that's the way we would do and then count. So the Tala should have 7, and then there are some double speed sections. And then there is quadruple speeds. You have to add up all this. Every double note is going to be equal to 1 note in slow speed. Every 4 notes in quadruple speed is going to be equal to 1 note in slow speed. So you have to add that still there is only 7 coming within that cycle. That's a precise way to do that. And then you have to underline once or twice, depending on double or quadruple speed.
Excuse me, sir. I have a doubt.
I couldn't hear.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, now I can. Tell me.
Okay, fine. So, sir, last question. So, regarding the Gamakas, actually, there are some Gamakas in any raga if you take, which are like extremely difficult to sing, and everything you should have noted down in a notation form, and that too when you are performing any specifically on a like in a given concert, you practice one kind of
Wait.
Gamaka in the.
Your thing is slightly fading in and out. Can everybody else hear her very well?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, tell
Can
me.
you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry, sir. What I was saying is that, Namaskaram, sir. What I was saying is that when you're practicing any specific kriti, so you practice there. Some kritis are extremely difficult gamakas to do. So you practice that, but for those things you cannot write notation and but still you would performing on stage, you get a different kind of gamakam. So for that, will notation work always?
So you are saying that the kriti is difficult means you don't write notation?
No, I do not mean that, sir. In Kriti, and I do not see the whole Kriti. Like there are some specific gamkas, like which are like stage when I'm a part of movie, it's like extremely you get different kind of gamkam. So always the you cannot write the notation for such difficult gamkas. That's what I meant. So how does it work?
No.
You have to.
I actually covered all the basically most important gamakas are Kampitam or Jaru. Okay, the main as Hindustani artists call it. So these two, if you are able to notate, if you know the connection, the links between notes, if you know that, then you will correctly connect those notes where it's required.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So,
Yes,
there is no connection between the sa and re, but the re itself is oscillated slightly. It's actually taken from above, actually. It's not connected to the sa. So put some arrow from above to show that it's coming from ma. Maybe put a bracket ma so that you have to take it only from ma. That is connected from that re to sa. So you observe as much as possible, listen. If the notes are connected, then put a connection mark like a curve. Then that again, the sa and pa are connected. That's connected. So all these things we have to observe more and more keenly to see if notes are connected or not. If you connect notes that are not connected, and if you don't connect notes that are connected, then music will not sound good enough. We have to really understand that links are very, very important, even when you sing very fast. So our visualization in slow will enable us to sing more accurately in fast or play accurately in fast. And that's a secret between good artists and lesser artists. The same thing in sports, right? If your micro movements are absolutely correct, your probabilities of succeeding in sports is exponentially higher. The mediocre players, somewhere in the microscopic details, they'll be actually less, right? So that is the same thing at the subatomic level. If you look at elements also, somewhere a gold has certain properties because at the subatomic level, it is a much superior element than say glass or something, tin or something else, right? So that is where it is for people also. The excellence degrees, details at the subatomic level, or now if you want to go nano, peak, or whatever levels you want to talk, at that level, things are made or not made. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. I have a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
This is Srinidhi. So what speed are Varnams usually composed in? And if I am to notate a Varnam, do I have to think of it as, do I have to think of it as first speed in my head and then notate it?
You came late because I made this point actually. Varnams are always composed in third speed. So it's always 4 notes per beat. So put it in chunks of 4. Most of the kritis are also composed. Fast-paced kritis are composed in 4 notes per beat speed only. So we have to put in chunks of 4 only. And then beat marks you have to put after the 5th and 7th beats. And then at the end of the cycle, you put 2 beats, two vertical bars to denote talas. So Varnams always write it only as the first speed of Varnam is equal to 4 third speed in absolute terms. That is 4 notes per beat. Okay.
Yes, sir, understood. Sir, I was not late. I don't know. I
Okay,
was
okay, not a
there.
problem. Yeah. I
Okay.
couldn't see the too many people in the screen, so I'm not able to see.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
That question,
Excuse me, sir.
with that question about the Varna.
So
Sir,
I couldn't hear. Too
sir,
many
I'm
people
starting
talking.
here. Am I able to? You're able to hear me, sir? Yeah. In
Slightly
continuation,
muffled.
in continuation, the previous question about the Varna, Rendikale Aditalam they are telling us, sir, that is like two counts will be doing for every finger counts. That is the best way of practicing of Varna, or a single 4/4 way to make it?
No. When you are seeing the first speed of Varnam, it's always third. Absolute speed is third speed. So that means always 4/4 notes is what you should practice. You should not practice in no, go, no, not that, or no, go. You should not never do that. No, go. That's always in the third speed. But then double speed of that, you have to sing at 8 notes. And then we can
Radhika
sing.
Rendikale, they will be telling us, sir.
Kale is Kale. Okay, this is another very important concept. Kale is convenience for tempo. Okay. Now, in this tempo you sing, you can sing it in one kale. But if you're singing it very slowly to start with, your tempo could be this way, that way. So what people do in every beat they are splitting into branching 2 branches. So kale is branch basically. You are doing this more for your own convenience. Still it is 4 notes. If you count this will have 2, that will have the second part will have 2, so it still be 4 notes per beat. Or in the third speed will be that's original speed. When you think double speed, 8 notes per beat, 4 plus 4. But you can sing it as one beat. If you are sure of your tempo, you can. But people will not be, especially in the earlier stages, they may tend to speed up if it's very slow composition, and they may tend to slow down if it's going faster. So it's better to have these 2 colors just for your convenience.
So, sir, a Varnam and Kanda Jati will have 5 notes per beat. Am I right?
Kanda Gati. Kanda Gati means Kanda Nadai, so that will have 5 notes per beat, yes.
Okay. So, in second speed, it will have 10 notes.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's a Gati, so if it's a, but to the best of my knowledge, not many Varnams are in Kanda Gati. In fact, because it's not there, probably only one person who had composed earlier before I did was Madurai Srinivasan sir, I think, the Mridangist. So I think he had composed. I have not seen many of the Kandagati Varnams, but I tried in Kandagati, Tishragati, and Mishra Tapu, Sangeet and Tapu Varnam just for practice.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir.
But typically, those kind of different Gati Varnams don't try to sing it in double speed. Singing one Gati, one speed itself will be a big challenge. To sing it in 5 per beat, that itself will be super skill development opportunity. In fact, in my YouTube channel, Ravikiran Creations Collaborations, I think my Kandagati Varnam. There's also a Varnam I did in Panchagati.
Oh.
All five in Bilagari. So that should all be there in the channel, I think. Check it out. Okay. So I think we have had a very extensive session of a big subject. So with this, we can probably reserve other questions to answer in it. whoever wants to subscribe and get much more things, complicated things, sophisticated things. I've also done some rhythm workshops, core ways, smart finishes, all these creative things. A lot of things are there. Then other legends have also contributed a lot to Acharya Net, right? From Sheshagopalan sir, R.K. Srigaran sir, so many others have given beautiful lessons there. We can all learn from that and do well. And maybe they may even come up with a notation writing competition soon. So you can all develop your skills, and probably in a week or something, you may hear about something like that. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session.
Any
And
other announcement you guys want to make, please feel free.
so thank you so much, sir. And we will definitely announce about the notation writing contest. Please be on our Facebook pages and WhatsApp groups to get to know about this. I would like to invite Srimati Vanita Suresh to say a few words about some upcoming events that you all have a great opportunity to be part of. Vanita, would you like to
Yes.
share that information?
Namaskarams, everybody. We have an upcoming session end of August, August 31st and September 1st, on compositions of the great masters of spirituality and music. This is called Bhagavata Vandanam. These are compositions of Ravikiran sir. And Ravikiran sir himself will be teaching those, and you will have opportunities to present them in Brahmagana Sabha on January 5th in India, and potentially in a Midwestern city as well in the US. Besides that, in September, mid-September, we also will have again a workshop of the 12 Jyotirlinga Kshetras composed by Ravikiran sir. These are all original compositions, 12 compositions that will be presented in Cleveland on April 21st, Monday. And besides that, also maybe another city in the US. So please do stay tuned to Acharya Net's mailing lists. Also reach out to me or to Soumya for any more details you'd like. But do sign up and be part of
Yeah,
it.
you
It'll
can
be a
all
wonderful
learn these.
opportunity.
Yeah, you can also learn these compositions even if you're not able to perform. You're still welcome to register
Correct.
and learn these compositions. So you have that option as well.
Yes, you can learn those compositions, and you will also have several senior disciples of Ravikiran sir working with you before Ravikiran sir takes a look and refines them at the end. So you'll have a lot of training throughout. So please do sign up if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanita. Thank you, Ravikiran sir, once again. And my namaskarams to all the musicians and all the wonderful artists who have joined this session. And please be in touch with us. And we look forward to seeing you all in our upcoming sessions as well. Thank you so much.
All the
Namaste.
best, all of you. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank
sir.
you,
Bye-bye.
sir. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Namaste, sir.